Aspiringspike always likes to step up to the challenge, and not too long ago, he set a goal to be the #1 person at the top of the leaderboards for the Magic the Gathering online leagues. And as try as he might, it was amazing. He built up 1,000,000 trophies, but ultimately he lost and ended up having to pay like thousands of dollars in subs to the trophy leader. But now he's back at it again. He's got like, hey, we got a new challenge. I didn't learn my lesson last time, so I'm doing the modern trophy race again. New stakes. I bought these trophies for the race. They'll be engraved and shipped to first, second, and third place finishers on the leaderboard at the end of the season. This is actually really cool. I mean, who wouldn't want this trophy? And actually, there would be at least some incentive to become the trophy leader, because otherwise there's like no point. It's temporary, whatever. You're like a big grinder for the season, no big deal. But now you can get some trophies, and these are nice trophies. I don't know how big they are, but they're nice trophies. But there is something else on the line. If I'm not at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the season, I'll grow a mullet and keep it for 1 month. Good luck, have fun, everyone. So the big stakes. Big stakes. You get to screenshot Aspiringspike for a month with a mullet. With the mullet. And you also get to see the process of the mullet being grown at the same time. So, big stakes are on the line here. Huge stakes. Who's gonna win? Well, hopefully it's Aspiringspike this time. Well, good morning everyone to the morning show where we discuss all things magic. Welcome to Coffee and MTG. I am Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. I also happen to be your host. Morning Brown Trout Master. Correct. Close enough. Close enough. And what is a morning show without the sponsors? FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week, save up to 15% off all HP and damaged MTG singles. Hey, it still works, right? If it's HP, I mean, if it's damage, it under some circumstances. Well, let's see if we can look up some damaged MTG cards. There are, under some circumstances, they aren't even sleeve playable. See, if we get this... If you buy the one on the left, I don't think you can play this in a tournament. It doesn't work anymore. But, you know, if it's MP or damaged, if it's sleeve playable, it's good. It's good. Don't worry, you can play these in tournaments. Anyway, you can get 15% off these sort of chewed up, dog-eaten cards at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu, though. Get an additional 5% off your purchase. Supports the channel and saves you money. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. You know what? If you want to play the best deck in the format at any given time, you can do that with Mana Traders. You rent the deck, and then when it's not the best deck anymore, you send it back and you borrow the next best deck. So you're always on top of the metagame. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. Alright, good mornings all around. Good morning, Bear, Andrew, Frederick, Cody, Amazing Wally, Trevor, Kebby, Chris, Znichnil. It's very hard to pronounce your name. Gold medals, Kaya. Isaac, good morning. Long-time listener, first-time caller, Isaac. So what, like you're just, like, lurking most of the time? Today, you decided to break your comment virginity. I have to say, there are people who like to comment, there's people who just like to listen. Naxter, good morning. Good morning, Memphis, Mono Black. Good morning, Black Vic, Joseph, Wet Willie. Alright, good morning, everyone. Trevor just says, wow, Elon sold Tesla stock? Yeah, something like close to a billion, wasn't it? So just sold $1 billion. See? And it's not that he even wanted to. Apparently, he asked Twitter if he should sell some 10% of his stock, and Twitter said yes. So he did. Twitter made him do it. So, you know, don't blame him for selling the stock. Don't interpret it that way. Interpret what Twitter said. How strong is Bone Splitter? Oh, by the way, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions. Amongst all the questions and comments I'm getting on my social media channels here at Nikachu MTG Streams. But also, you can donate with super chats on YouTube, and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. I've never heard... I think I've heard of Bone Splitter. But thinking I've heard of it... Oh my. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. It's not good. It's not good. There are better things out there. I mean, for 1 mana with 1 equip, I would probably play with Shadow Spear. I mean, this is... Oh, sorry. It's 2 equip. Whatever. It's infinitely better for that 2 equip. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample and lifelink. You make your opponents lose hexproof and indestructible. You can equip for 2. I think it's way better. Is Hexdrinker a good budget alternative to Ragavan and Zoomer Jund? No. I would say no. It's not a replacement. In Zoomer Jund, if you don't have Ragavan, just don't play with Ragavan. That's all. Hexdrinker and Ragavan are in 2 different worlds. I'm looking at more at Hexdrinker like it's a good 4-drop. Like, yeah, you could play it on turn 1. The thing is, if you play Ragavan on turn 1, you're really putting your opponent in danger. If you play Hexdrinker on turn 1, they don't care. Like, they just don't care. You play Hexdrinker on turn 4 and turn it into a 4/4 pro instance. Now it's dangerous. So they're 2 very, very different cards. I wouldn't say this is a good replacement at all, though. Sorry, Hexdrinker. Just play other cards. Play Kroxa. Naxter Classic Affinity was 0% of the metagame, and now it's 1%. Did Thought Modern and Urza Saga that impactful to bring back Affinity? Yes, and one more one other creature. Let's look for Affinity. Look with me, people. It got one other card, didn't they? They got Sojourner's Companion. There, another 4/4 for Affinity. 4/4 Affinity with the Affinity mechanic. Hey, those 4/4s they're out of lightning bolt range. But you're correct. These were some big upgrades to the deck. Oh, and Treasure Vault. This is very pleasant. Artifact land that has extra synergy. Just put some artifacts on the battlefield. Pump up your cranial plating creature. Yes, the best deck in the format, Turbo Depths. Wait, this is modern? This is modern. There's not a lot of Merit Lages in this format. Not a lot at all. Michael, could you bring a trashy, messed up card like that to a tournament and ask a judge if you could proxy it? Ooh, good question. I don't have the answer to that. That's a good question. Can I bring a completely damaged card, prove I own it? You know what might be hard? It might be hard for them to verify that this is legitimate. They're like, well, how can we tell the difference between this and a proxy? So, like, they might say no. Or I would assume they would say no, but I don't know the answer to that. I've never asked the judge, hey, can I proxy this completely warped card that was in the washing machine last night? How good is Snapcaster Mage in Modern? It's good, but there are better cards. Just put it that way. It's good, but there are better cards. Like, trying to flashback things... you know what's interesting? The control deck, the decks that played Snapcaster Mage don't even care about Snapcaster Mage anymore, because they don't even want to use their graveyard as a resource. They want to use the battlefield as a resource. Like with Yorion, you know, blink everything on the battlefield and get more cards. Or ephemerate my Wall of Omens, ephemerate the Solitude, the Fury, the Omnath, and get more cards. So it seems like the resource to get card advantage is right now on the battlefield. This is where people are fighting for card advantage, and it's not the graveyard like it used to be. Snapcaster Mage gets displaced so that control decks can play Kahira. It's Kahira, right? Yeah. You know. If you want that random companion in your sideboard, that does buff up your Solitudes, your Furies, your Omnaths, if you play any of them. And all control deck, almost every white control deck plays Solitude. This thing can pump it up. Get a little bit more lifelink. Get that clock on the battlefield. You can't run Snapcaster Mage. I would say Snapcaster, it's still good. It's still a very good card. It's just, there's a different angle being taken in Modern right now. Thoughts on Cemetery Gatekeeper with Tunnel Ingus and Zuzu the Punisher? I don't know what Tunnel Ingus is. I also don't know. Cemetery Gatekeeper. Okay, is that red creature? It is. It's the red. People are fascinated by this guy. Just fascinated. It's like every single day we get some question about Cemetery Gatekeeper. With Tunnel Ignis. Tunnel Ignis. 2-1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield under his or her control this turn, it deals 3 damage to that player. I don't like it. Like, yeah, I get it. You're trying to hit fetch lands. It's not worth it. There's a lot of better ways to ruin fetch lands, and they just don't work very well. And then Zozu, I think, is you can't gain life. Zozu! Whenever a land enters the battlefield, Zozu Punisher deals 2 damage to that land's control. Now that's a solid card. That is a solid card. But, like, alas, all these things are creatures. They're all creatures. They can all die. I'm not impressed with these cards where your opponent has to play into it, because your opponent doesn't have to. And maybe they take a little bit of damage early on in the game, but then they'll like just stop playing lands if they have to. Tantoro, you come to a tournament, say to a judge, "Dog ate my deck." Yes. We should watch another YouTuber's video for 30 minutes, like yesterday. Well, yeah, but what? What is the video? What is the topic? Is it? Okay, hold on. Okay, I'll look up damaged cards in competitive play. See if any judges. MTG damaged cards. Maybe I'll just look up judge. I don't see anything on the surface. Rules. No, I don't see anything, so we're just gonna say no to that one. Hot Cold Man, you were talking about Regenerate yesterday. What about Moss Bridge Troll? Good luck. What's so different about Moss Bridge Troll? Oh, so something spicy here. Moss Bridge Troll. If Moss Bridge Troll would be destroyed, regenerate it. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control other than Moss Bridge Troll with total power 10 or greater. Moss Bridge Troll gets +20/+20 till end of turn. So it's just constantly regenerating itself. No cost. Is there any Crimson Vow cards that gets to the modern meta? None that I know of. None that I know. But we'll see. It's getting released, I think, today? I think we have a Magic the Gathering Magic the Gathering Online update today, which is not good for me because I'm in the middle of a league that I didn't finish. So I should probably finish that thing if it's still available. Will Skred ever come back? Anything is possible, but they have to change their deck, of course. They can't be doing like whatever they've been doing for the last million years. Spencer Ward, could blood tokens be a useful means of support to make Madness Vampires viable as an archetype? Very unlikely. Maybe, but very unlikely. And I'll tell you what needs to happen. Like, we need better Madness Vampires. Like, yeah, there are Madness Vampires out there, but they're pretty crappy. And on top of that, the vampires that create the blood tokens need to be good. as well. You can't be just playing with garbage creatures so that you can enable your bad Madness vampires. So both need to be good. And I don't think the Madness vampires are that great. And I most certainly don't think most of the blood tokens, or the vampires that create blood tokens, are any good either. Like, they both need to be good. Otherwise, you're just playing, like, mediocre cards to get other mediocre cards in play, and then you're gonna lose. All for last. I believe it has to be damaged at the tournament. Ah, so if it gets damaged at the tournament, you get the proxy token. Naxter, when to run Thragtusk versus Wormcoil Engine in G-Tron, because Solitude running rampant. I would say against Burn and Prowess, you might want Thragtusk. You want that immediate value. The problem with Wormcoil Engine is you don't get that value immediately. You depend on blocking or attacking with the Wormcoil Engine, and that sometimes can backfire. Like, your opponent, in theory, let's say it's Prowess especially, they could attack with a bunch of creatures, you block one, and then they kill the creature that you blocked. So your Wormcoil Engine doesn't deal any combat damage, and then they just pump up all their creatures, and then you're dead. So that's the only immediate thing I could think of. What's Aspiringspike's most ambitious challenge? If you were late, you do have to be here early. He's going to offer trophies for the trophy leaderboard this season. Gold, silver, and bronze. He'll have the name engraved and sent out to whoever won. But also, if he's not at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the month, he'll grow a mullet. Keep it for 1 month. Good morning, Aaron. Will you consider Collected Company as an option for Simic Merfolk? Yes, I actually sleeved it up for a GP once. I get a lot of questions about Collected Company. Is Collected Company good in Merfolk? I think so. I like it a lot. I think the card advantage is worth it. I played it quite a few times. Is it Harsh Mentor 2? The Cemetery Gatekeeper? I think it's a bit different. But maybe it's on a similar range as Harsh Mentor, where a lot of people were fascinated by Harsh Mentor, but like didn't really ended up doing anything. It is land burn. Make Path to Exile more fun. Aha, I see. Well, yeah, it might make Path to Exile more fun, but still it only deals like a little bit of damage to the opponent. And they have the option to not get the land, remember? Like, you can Path, but they're not forced to get a land. You can Field of Ruin, but they're not forced to get a land. Yes, did we finish your finals match against Death Shadow? I like the idea of playing it in the background while we talk. Alright, let's go. Do I still have it up? I think I still have it up. Or maybe I don't. I can get it, though. Let's go look at Matt.
Here from Vancouver.
Alright, we got the big show. Should I have myself in the corner? Nah, this is okay. Okay, where did we last leave off? Okay, it's a whole new game. This is game 2. I just got my ass kicked in game 1 because I kept a 1-lander on the draw and I didn't draw a second land. And I had mulligan, so hey, don't blame me for keeping that land. That was nonsense. Here's Curse Catcher, which was still good at the time. Which was a good creature at the time.
And the cards was very, very color specific. Right. And if you
did you ever see the MTG Ice Age promotional video that they made? Yes, I did. It looks terrible. And I thought I was going to make some content out of it, but some of my reacts to some of my videos for like the old promotional Wizard stuff just wasn't getting a lot of views. Like, just no one cared. So I thought I was going to make a video on that, but like, hey, I got to follow the views. Views no good, got to move somewhere else. Is food with cookbook / Asmo Daredevil the combo that will stay strong because of the amount of cards caring about artifacts? Maybe. Like, maybe. Not to mention, like, that deck also played Urza's Saga, right? So Urza's Saga can maybe, in theory, improve that deck as over time as more and more artifacts are printed. But there is still the problem with it. This deck is, like, really dirtly. Like, it dirtles around a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you get the Asmarano, you get the Underworld Cookbook, but you don't have any super strong, powerful clock. It's just, like, a lot of value. Make a lot of treasure tokens and then lose.
So Josh basically has to decide.
Wash Away seems to be a good card in Modern.
Does allow you to get a Master of Waves, but it's almost certainly going to get countered.
By the way, it's 18 lands, not 50. That was my mistake.
Oh, okay.
No.
Still,
Counter target spell that wasn't cast from its owner's hand. I have to pay 3 mana to make a counter spell.
And, Jonathan
Not interested.
He also, by the way, takes his
What do you think of Reckless Impulse?
out
Oh,
for this matchup.
wow.
I countered that Thoughtseize, by the way.
Master Waves looked
It's
like it was
gone.
pretty strong, and there weren't too many ways for Josh to beat it, but I guess
Exile
Josh
top
really
2 cards of your library until end of turn. It might be okay because it's doing a fine expressive iteration impersonation.
Looks like he's just all in on the mana denial strategy.
Yeah.
So like this card sees a lot of play.
Kinda cool, actually.
There's 1 extra color. This one's 1 less. It's just pure and red, so maybe it actually sees
That's
play.
interesting.
Oh,
Maybe.
He's gonna make Josh.
We got okay. So let's getting back to this game here. We got Relic, and we're starting to exile the graveyard, which is important. Did it run? No, I don't think it ran. It ran Tarmogoyf. I was thinking, did it run
But he wanted to get
Gurmag Angler? But it runs Tarmogoyf, so we got to keep that graveyard nice and clean.
And with the fetch land that's still
And also, if I can keep Delirium off, you can't traverse the Ulvenwold for like Death Shadow or whatever the hell else he wants.
removal in his hand too.
Oh, MTG Ectoplasm with the super chat. What's a better use of man? Playing Disturb cost for the Dorothea's Retribution or using the ability on Moorland Hunt? I would say,
We choose to fizzle the delirium aspect.
give him
I'm just going to look up Dorothea's.
and he's only got what? 2
Dorothea's Retribution. Oops.
So is Josh going to
I
just
would
go ahead
say
and
you're better off on Moorland Haunt. Just because this is a lot of mana just to get to Disturb. You're actually paying 5 mana. You have to get this thing in play.
Destruction spell with the curse catcher. Just go traverse
I guess you get 1 attack in, which is not too bad. But then you need to transform it and you have to put it on a creature. And you're just asking to be 2 for 1. I think this is pretty big card disadvantage. Whereas with Moorland Haunt, you can just hold it up.
casting this
Like Moorland Haunt,
pay for the curse catcher's ability.
you can hold this up. You can hold up Rattle Chains, Spell Queller. If you have Rattle Chains in play, you can just play any random creature. And then if you don't need to play a creature, you just put a token in play. I think this is a better use of mana.
Trying to play around that active curse catcher.
Plus, you know, it only saves you for 1.
What do we got? Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. What do we got going on over here? It's a tense game. Okay, I think he traversed for... What do you have? Did he have artifact, creature, sorcery, land? Okay, so I think he got a Death Shadow, which is annoying as hell. You kill my curse catcher. How dare you?
Issue with this Tarfire. That's gonna get that card
No matter what.
Josh!
and increase
Killing all my curse catchers.
slash Tarmogoyf count.
Alright, let's go.
Oh.
I pick up Vendilion Click, which was like my secret tech for this event. It was the first time Merfolk was playing Vendilion Click seriously.
If he's got a land,
It was so good.
the Death Shadow.
It was really, really good actually for the entire event. It saw a lot of play and it helped me a lot. Thank you, Vendilion Click.
So he can just draw step Josh.
Doomwake had a good video of the cards he thinks are modern playable. Might be good to check out. How long is it?
If you think that your opponent
Okay, we might after this game.
take away.
We'll look into that.
His main goal here is to get rid of that death shadow, so I think he's just opting to wait.
Now, crazy idea. Coco, Kumena, Rijiri, and Kira. Have you tried? I've never tried that before.
No way.
But I mean, I would instead of Kumena, I would just play Svelune now. Svelune is just better.
So I think if Zach says, or excuse me, if John
Is
says
Boros
that
Burn high meta because it wins more or because it's popular? Both.
Yeah.
Both. But the main thing that Boros Burn has going for it is that the metagame is heavily dependent on the board, and Burn just ignores that. So every deck, Crashing Footfalls, Living End, the Solitude Fury decks, it's all about interacting with the board. And Burn's just like, I don't care about the board, I just shoot your face. And that's basically how they win. That's its edge in the metagame right now. And no one's really, at least for the last few months, no one was preparing for it. So I click Josh Utter Layton, and I see 2 Death Shadows and a huge pile of removal. Now, I can't whittle away the removal. I mean, sorry, I can... removing any piece of removal means nothing, because whatever, I'll just get hit with the other ones. But the Death Shadows are a big deal. I can deal with one. Like, in theory, I can, like, try to race. I don't even want to. I'm in a really bad spot. Like I don't have many resources. I don't have many cards. But if I'm gonna be able to race or turn this game around, I have a better chance against 1 Death Shadow than against 2, because those will be insanely high impact going on to the next few turns.
Makes the Death Shadows into 4/4s here. Right.
And I end up taking like one of the Death Shadows. Like this is like my only chance of winning.
I like that though from Jonathan to get rid of the Death Shadow.
Yeah, but this is a very nice spot.
Position is so bad, so bad. Scott, is Fairies bad in the metagame with all those control fairy decks running around? I mean, not only that, like Fairies doesn't even have like any good cards. Like what makes Fairies Fairies? Bitter Blossom? Bitter Blossom was never good in Modern. So that's what makes Fairies bad in the metagame, is it's not really that interactive, and they don't actually have that. The power level of Fairies is so weak compared to like what Modern does these days. And you know, I've tried to make a Fairies deck before, and I have to admit, you guys don't have a whole lot of playables. Like, they've been given good cards to spirits, they've been given cards to merfolk, they've been given cards to humans, they've been given cards to elves. You Fairies players have nothing. You have like nothing at the 2-drop slot. You have nothing to, barely anything to play at turn 1. So, I mean, I would say that's the main problem with Fairies, is that you have very few playables. What playables you did have was really good back in Standard, but in Modern, you're completely outclassed. Completely outclassed. And it has no... the biggest problem is you have no clock. Like, you have no clock whatsoever. So, like, even if you control the board, you don't turn the game around very well at all. Is Infect still running around, says Hacksaw. I built it in paper, like, right when the pandemic started, and still haven't played a game with it. It's in a lot of trouble because of Ren and 6. Like, and this is a very popular card. And there's no good solution around this. Ever since this card came out, Infect has had a lot more trouble doing anything, because it just has this perpetual deal 1 damage to target creature. So whatever creature you have out, it's always, for free, going to be under threat by the Ren and 6. And if you just jam out an Infector and their opponent just jams out Ren and 6, I mean, sometimes you're just lost from there.
It looked like a Minamo.
Let's see. Are we going to look at my hand?
It's just a 1/1 right now, but it will not stay that way for long. Josh draws his card.
Did he Inquisition me already?
The Mishra's Bauble.
Jonathan's not.
He's just flooding now. Yeah.
Because, like, the situation is, I think I have a land and a Dispel in hand, or I have a Dispel and some creature.
Putting on a lot of pressure, but he's got 4 spells.
I've got, like, I have nothing. Effectively. I have nothing, and Josh Arthur-Layton has everything. And I'm really screwed. I'm just really, really, really screwed.
He did sandbag that because he just drew Liliana for the turn.
Right.
At the time, I thought I was just lost here, and you know, we're just gonna play it out though, because there's always a chance. There's always a chance.
Don't really need to play that 3rd land.
Maybe I top deck Master of Waves into Master of Waves into Master of Waves. If I'm not mistaken, I think I sided out some of my Master of Waves in this matchup at the time. I know my sideboarding was just awful.
Attack, crash.
Oh, here goes. Grow them Death Shadows.
Oh, okay. we're trying to figure out like the next level plays of the whole.
What is a good way to pass the tire / priority? You just say pass priority. That's all you do. Do this game action, pass priority. You just say it. I am passing priority to you. I'm passing priority to you, good sir. Wash Away gets Cascade decks? Yeah, but so, like, there's, I think, was it called Mist Cast? Also deals with Cascade decks pretty well. There's a lot of Spell Pierce deals with Cascade decks pretty well. What do you think of Sea Singer? I don't think of Sea Singer at all. Look, I'm about to lose a card now. There's a Liliana on the board on the battlefield. How do I come back from this?
And he can also put a little bit of pressure on the Liliana. It looks like end of
We
turn,
got
he's
Sea
going to
Singer.
bounce Death Shadow,
Oh!
attack the Liliana for 2.
She's quite the babe, isn't
The
she?
only option he has. And if he draws a Lord,
She's not bad
Liliana will go to 1.
for Fallen Empires. Not bad at all.
Won't be able to use it as a removal effect.
I'm not going to read what she does because that might ruin her. Why do you use Botanical Sanctum instead of Breeding Pool and fetch lands for Simic Merfolk? Because the damage is significant. You will die so much faster against so many decks, Death Shadow decks, Prowess decks, Burn decks, if you are focusing on fetches and shocks. It is really painful. You will lose way more often. So the idea is keep the deck as damage free as possible. That's why I don't even play Horizon lands right now. They just kill you. Horizon lands will just kill you. Simple as that. Nothing you can do about it. Except change your mana base. No idea. Do you think red-black Asmo food with Goblin Engineer is good because you can sack food tokens? Not really. Like, what are you Goblin Engineering onto the battlefield? So you need to have some sort of oh no, well, Goblin Engineer, I guess, tutors. But then what are you putting onto the battlefield? Maybe there's something there, and it's in the red colors with Asmorano. It's possible. Maybe there's something there. Okay, huge turn of events here. I put a Spreading Seas. Maybe we rewind this back. This was a huge difference in play. So I bounce a Death Shadow with my Harbinger of the Tides at end of turn.
Yeah, of course.
And you want to do it at end of turn. You don't want to. What's it called? I wouldn't have done it in combat because then they would just replay the Death Shadow, and they played Liliana and Edict my Harbinger away. So Harbinger enters the battlefield. We bounce Death Shadow. Now we can attack the Liliana. Excellent. But I draw perhaps the best card possible. Best card possible. I draw a Spreading Seas. This is very important because Josh Arlayton's hand is stacked. It is absolutely stacked with removal spells. And it's so good. But what I do here is if I hit one of the black sources, now all of a sudden Josh can only play one black spell a turn. So even though he has a million cards in hand, he can only play one spell a turn, and I can only play one spell a turn. So I play the Master of the Pearl Trident, attack the Liliana. Now Liliana can only tick up. I'm going to lose my damn Dispel. Oh well.
Has a Death Shadow and a Fatal Push, but only access to 1 black mana.
But this is a huge turnaround. All of a sudden, my little dinky crap is very impressive. Because if he wants to play Death Shadow again, it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. I think maybe he should. Maybe he should play Death Shadow here. Because even if I draw a Lord, who cares? Or, I mean, I guess he could still care. Yeah, maybe that's still a problem. If I draw a Lord, attack him for 7, go down to 2. He has huge Death Shadow, but it can't kill me. And he doesn't have Temur Battle Rage in his hand, or probably in his deck. Yeah, that's a problem. So he's going to end up... He's going to go on a mission of killing my stuff, but he's not putting any pressure on me. Do you like the new Slimy Boy? I don't know what this new Slimy Boy is.
I think he knows about the Dispel.
Why was Josh running Tarfire, and why is it no longer played? It is still played in some of the Jund Shadow decks. He's running Tarfire because Tribal on Tarfire adds creature types to the graveyard for Tarmogoyf.
He's going to prioritize, though, getting this Death Shadow down first.
Okay.
So because it was a Tribal instant Goblin, that made your Tarmogoyf a little bit bigger, and it also made it easier for you to get Traverse the Ulvenwald online.
Was it?
So you got Traverse online, and you got a bigger Tarmogoyf. These Tarmogoyfs got really big. They were like 6/7s on the regular.
Get rid of Liliana in that process as well.
Jason, is Dirty Box a good tutor for Urza Saga? I don't...
Blood Crypt, that would give...
Dirty Box?
It's an island.
I don't even know what this is.
And Lord of Atlantis does give Island Walk.
Yeah, if he plays the Lord of Atlantis, Harbinger of the Tides,
Never heard of it.
Attacks Josh
4/4.
Layton down to 5.
Yes.
Who's the
Yep,
Jonathan dude?
attacks Liliana. Gets rid of that. Death Shadow becomes.
It is Lord of Atlantis.
Why isn't Rip
That
Apart
was a
good? It is
huge
good.
draw for
Wow.
Jonathan.
Seeing it
Attack
sees
pick.
play. Not a whole lot of play, but
At
it
one
sees
point,
play.
All John had was a Dispel in hand.
That's right.
I like that. So most people ask me, "Is this card good? Is this card good?" Now we have someone who says, "Why isn't it good?" Well, it is good. It's okay.
Could get Josh to 1 here as well.
Was oh, and I drew another Lord.
To be a-
We draw another Lord. All right, so now we're cooking with fire. I can't kill Josh, which is unfortunate, and there's always the chance that if I deal enough damage to him, I might be in trouble.
Would be lethal
You're right, it would be down to 2, wouldn't it?
because it would be an 11/11 Death Shadow.
Because of course, the lower his life total gets, the bigger the Death Shadow gets, and I still have to deal with removal.
If at all
And I
possible,
have to deal with this Liliana.
shot rather than getting them to critically
So,
low life.
I think John
We send
probably
4
would-
damage to Josh's
I think
face
so too.
and 3 damage to Liliana,
Turn anyway.
because otherwise Liliana
Three
will
damage to Liliana and
edict.
5 damage to Josh.
And who wants
Or
that
the
to
other way
happen?
around to make it
Nobody
so
wants that to happen.
Or sorry, 4 damage to Josh.
Oh, was Kumena a cool tool in the toolbox, which was just outclassed, or was it just too slow for the creature meta? Kumena,
And this would
Tyrant of Razka, was just
Vitality doesn't do what he wants
useless.
anymore now.
Like, the abilities weren't that good. Tap 3 Merfolk to draw a card. At the time in Modern, you didn't have time for that. Maybe today you do. It's a slower format today.
so brutal.
So maybe Kumena Tyrant of Razka is a lot better than it looks today. But still, like, tap 3 creatures to draw a card was
So the spreading seems
really
super
meh.
effective. The tectonic
And also
is
tap 5 was terrible.
Yeah, I
If
was
he's got
I,
4 mana,
I
he's
was a
gonna be
little
able to
bit
cast
surprised because again the Death
I wish
Shadow
they
deck
pushed
doesn't
fairies
really
and
play a
other
lot.
weak tribes in Modern Horizons. I mean, that would have been it for
I thought
fairies.
he was
Fairies
gonna
needs a lot of help.
to-
Fairies needs
but,
help
you
right
know,
now.
Use the spreading season
They're not getting nearly enough love.
in his deck.
How impactful is deck thinning in Modern with fetch lands? It's terrible. It's absolutely brutal. It's very bad. It's a very bad idea. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you fetch,
so
if you use a fetch land and you lose 1 life,
his spells. They
that
cost
is
1 mana,
5%
so
of your life total if at your starting life total of 20.
it's hard to cast
Oh,
one
what
spell,
happens
so he's
here?
gonna kill the Lord of Atlantis.
Oh yeah, I don't
Okay, so this is
I
a
don't
little
win
bit
yet.
because Josh kept back the Death Shadow. The Lord does not itself.
But
have
anyway,
a-
so
unless John,
when you
top decks
fetch,
another Lord
the
of
odds that
Atlantis,
you
Lord of
the odds of you
Atlantis
top decking a land is like less than 1%. Like you change the odds by like less than 1%, but you reduce your life total by 5% by cracking the land. And then if you have 10 life left and you crack a fetch land, that's 10% of your life. If you have 5 life left, that's 20% of your life. So it's not
True Lord of
worth
Atlantis
it.
are
It's just not worth it.
as well, so
Right.
we
Death
do not
thinning
want that
is
card. He
I
can
mean,
very
it's
easily
basically
cast
it's
it.
stupid. I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, if you build your deck with fetch lands for just deck thinning, it's just stupid.
It's the only one drop.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And don't buy fetch lands for that reason.
I know he's a little bit concerned about.
Renin
top
6
fire.
is Thalia's Bane? Well, sort of. Because if you get Thalia out first,
If Jonathan,
then Renin
if
6
Josh
costs
Shadow
3
has
mana,
a
and you
Tarfire
might not
Lord,
have the mana for Renin 6.
he will tar fire the Lord,
Yes.
then block the Harbinger.
Atomic
of the
versus
Tides,
Ren? I don't know
and
what Atomic
Shadow
is.
Effectively lose on the spot.
Is Mono Blue Merfolk Ponza a meme deck? I got good results at my local store. I mean, it's not a meme deck, but it requires a very, very narrow metagame.
And it goes. He's gonna hold
All
his
right,
breath.
we're attacking
He's
with this
ghosting.
Harbinger
I know
here,
it is
'cause, like,
ghosting.
I need to.
And it works.
Because I know the Master of the Pearl Trident's gonna die next turn, and we gotta put ourselves in a position to win the game. So I mean, I was figuring,
Oh, it was another
No.
Death Shadow.
That's the game.
I think that Jonathan
I can
has to
chump
be
at least
forced
once.
to
Like I just need one Island Walk Lord, right? So if
Oh, wait,
say
no.
Josh
No, no,
decides,
he's
okay, I'm gonna
thinking.
kill the Master of the Pearl
He's
Trident with
So Josh
removal
Shadow has the fatal push, so he can
and
play the
attack
fatal
me
push
for
forward.
basically lethal, which it's not even lethal yet. I can take one shot, but I could start chump blocking with a Curse Catcher
He
if
can
I
use
have
that
to
gain some life as well.
to buy myself more time,
Okay,
to find
so
another
he's
Island
not
Walk
quite
Lord or
Timian,
some
not
sort of
yet.
bounce spell or something. When was this GP? Back in 2017.
Brutality, discarding Street Wraith to kill the Lord and gain
some life.
2 life, which is
Zombies seeing any play in Modern since the new Instrad came out? Nope.
a whole nother
Nothing new.
game.
Is Josh going to
Or
attack
nothing
him?
more than usual.
So how big is this Death Shadow? 2
Josh-
turns
Nikachu,
block
stop
damage.
reliving your
Shadow's
traumatic
only an
past.
amount.
Better think about your traumatic future.
He- and Jonathan only has.
I like looking at my traumatic past.
Yes, of course. Yes. Dak, I love
Fairies has Fallen Shinobi as a win
Five.
con. Well,
And
they need
he
more.
needs to draw
They need a lot
some
more.
way,
They need
a
more help.
lord to pump up his
The
creatures.
whole thing need.
And
You know,
he
like the
did.
most successful fairies lists have no fairies in it. It's
So
just like
let's say
4
Jonathan
spell
just
starter
doesn't
sprite
draw.
and maybe
He
2
has
mutavault,
a
and
chance to use
boom!
to attack
It's
the
a
target
fairies
with
deck. I mean, is it
Decklist
really a
and then
fairies
block the
deck,
curse
people?
catcher.
Is it really a fairies deck?
Yeah, or he can just draw a
Let's
lord.
be serious.
If he
It's not a
draws
fairies
lord,
deck.
he
It's a
wins
control
the game
deck
off
with
the
spell
spot.
starter
Isn't that
sprite
the
in
easy
it.
way to do it?
Yeah. I'm just talking about the worst case
I
scenario
like it.
here.
He's gonna take
Why is
Malzetta
Sprite Dragon
5.
so
Let's
bad?
see
One
if he hit
toughness?
it.
No,
A
Sprite
lord?
Dragon is great. It's
Yes, he
very
hit a
good.
lord and he's gonna win
I
game
top deck a lord. We won.
over
We got Josh.
That means we get
Ah, we
game
got
3.
him.
What a top deck
What a comeback!
from Jonathan Zakzek.
He had a dispel, a singular dispel.
Unreal.
One dispel at one point
Wow,
versus
what
Josh's
fantastic
army of
game
like
from
5
Jonathan
removal spells and a Death Shadow.
Oh,
And
man.
I won. I did it. That's the power of Merfolk right there.
How about a game 3? What do you say, Paul?
Let's
You-
go to
you
game
doing
3.
anything?
Wow, look
sorry,
how
my
much time is
heart's not
spent
ready
on
for this.
sideboarding.
No, take it.
All right.
He'll recover.
What do you got, Josh?
So
He
anyways,
like
Josh,
Street
other-
Wraith twice.
has
His
a
starting hand actually
great
sucked.
And
But he happened to have
he's
2
already
Street
signed
Wraiths
himself
and then
for
it
14
like
life
turned
points
into
for the
something
box.
amazing.
He's off.
From my
This is
perspective
getting
at the
a lot
time, I
of
thought
focus
he
on
had
Josh
kept
Ross.
like the most
What's going
bonkers
on?
hand possible.
Jonathan's hand
My
is
hand is really good.
Oh, yeah.
My this hand was
Josh
so good.
probably just taking that
Too bad he
ether
thought
vial.
seized
John
it
kept
because
the
I lost
7
my vial.
with land ether vial and a lot of 2
I even
drops.
peel lands and it doesn't even matter.
And you think
Sprite Dragon.
taking away the ether
Sprite
vial
Dragon is one of the best cards in Modern.
Right, because with the ether
Why
vial,
doesn't
Josh
it
can
see
play
play
multiple
anymore?
spells, play multiple spells
Because
in
they're just
turn.
better cards. Why play Sprite
And
Dragon
if
when
you
you
try
can
to
play
play
with
the
Dragon
third
Rage
game,
Chandler and
Josh can
Ragavan?
just play
It just got
one
outclassed.
creature every
That's
turn.
all. It's a very good card.
That's the game Josh is going to play. Josh is going
It's a very good card.
Jonathan's going to go turn 2/2/1.
Fairies is desperate for playables, and Blue-Red Tempo has all the playables.
And this is also the type of hand that could go horribly awry.
Alejandro, if Talk with Modern Masters don't come back soon, we can have matches against Modern Masters? No, definitely not. We're gonna talk with Modern Masters. I'm gonna bring not even Master. I'm gonna get like we're just gonna get a lot of guests in the future.
So Josh already down to 12. He can just start playing Death Shadows if he wants.
Spectre, you just need a banner on every stream that says "Do not deck thin with fetches." No, it's well. I guess I could put in an FAQ in the description. Oh, you have this question? Oh, I checked the FAQ in alphabetical order. Should I play with fetch lens to thin the deck?
Oh, do you have a Tarmogoyf as well? Okay.
Okay.
Is that a real strategy?
Sorcery, land, artifact.
You're the Tarmogoyf.
Reasonable.
Tarmogoyf's big already. What we got? Land. It's 4/5 Goyf. Game has just started.
In hand for Josh. So if Jonathan is like land, play a Merfolk.
What's the percentage of deck thinning with fetches in a Yorian deck? It's even worse.
This is the ideal start for Josh Utter Leighton.
Yeah.
Should Josh had baited an attack with both lords, or would you have attacked with both? What? Bait an attack with both lords? How does he bait though?
Then play.
I mean, there's nothing he says that's gonna change change what I do.
Does he have a third land?
Like I didn't attack with both lords because I had to play around remove. I know he has a bunch of removal in hand.
Have a need
Like I know because I played Vendilion Click a long time ago. Remember? So I know what's in his hand. I know he's got a pile of removal, and I mean, he could be drawing creatures, but I don't think so.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Look at this, 2 fucking Death Shadows. Are you kidding me, Josh? Are you kidding me?
Overwhelming odds at this point as Josh Utter Leighton.
And I'm peeling lands off the top of my library,
Not even spreading seas will get him out of there.
and I can't do
The
shit.
problem is the damage is done. He's already developed his board with
Right.
massive threats. Way bigger than
It,
anything.
it still applies today. I can deal with one Death Shadow pretty well, but a second Death Shadow is very hard.
We could easily be seeing Josh Utter Leighton in the last few turns before he wins Grand Prix Vancouver.
And yeah, Josh's hand is also fantastic. He's got a Tarfire in hand.
Play my Bridge Fairies
He's
deck.
also got Liliana,
Bridge
the
Fairies
last
is a good
card,
idea.
which deals with the Silver Gill Adept as well if Josh draws a land.
Some good vampires and Vow for the mono black vampires tribal.
He has his
Oh,
lead.
maybe the 4 mana 5/6
Third land for them.
Trampler, Flying Trampler. That's the only thing I can think of that might be playable in vampires. That's it though.
He basically has it all.
What are the sheets of paper for? Which paper? Yeah, what paper?
He came here to win the Grand Prix.
Maybe to record our life totals is what you mean?
Marrow,
Or, oh, there is also maybe a piece of paper to write down
not gonna get the
what
job
I know. Because when you look at somebody's hand, you can write down what's in their hand. So maybe that's the paper that you're talking about.
Off the top, he is just flooding the board with threats. Now, does he want to actually take this turn, though, to use the tar fire here?
I think what he's going to do is just attack.
Yeah, just attack and just force it, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have lethal.
Is there a good representation of merfolk in media, like movies and cartoons about fish people? Disney is doing a... Okay. Long story short, I'm going to lose this.
Yeah, he's just losing.
Came out of day one.
There, I'm dead. Doesn't Disney have... Oh, I shouldn't look it up because... Hold on. Disney Mermaid... Not. I don't want to go look at the Little Mermaid. There's like a new fish movie or something. Disney fish movie. Luca? Luca, there we go. We're not going to click on it because Disney will have my ass. I'll just see immediately after the stream is over. You are demonetized by Walt Disney Productions or whatever. So here we go. Luca, official trailer. Go check it out. They look like humans, but they're not. They're fish. They're fish. I think this is the closest we get to a mermaid. So you can see underneath. Anyway, I'm not gonna dare touch that thing. That's toxic. It's toxic waste. I'm gonna get in trouble with them. Anyway, it's time for Decklist review. So if you got a list you want to submit to me, share with the community. Oh, that rhymes, doesn't it? List you want to share with me and the community with our coffee and our MTG. Go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. There is a channel called Decklist Review, and that is your golden spot to enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be eligible at random for Decklist Review. And please no fucking deckstats.net shit. We didn't finish watching my match. I lost. Spoiler alert. I got second place. I got a plaque. Do I have my plaque here? Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to find my... I think my plaque is around here. I got this thing. It didn't come with the badge and the elemental token, but this is what I got. Played a whole tournament, I got this stinking plaque. It's not bad. But you know what was better than the plaque? The $5,000 US that I got for second place. That was much better than this thing. But fuck it, I'll keep it. I am a Magic the Gathering Grand Prix Vancouver finalist. I made the finals. Whatever. I'm running out of elemental tokens for my patrons. Like, I'm really screwed on elemental tokens. Ugh, really want this elemental token again. So if I'm desperate, I'll take the one off the plaque, send it to somebody. I'm running out of elemental tokens. Yes, it is like that. Delicious exchange rate. Just kidding, it's not that good. For anyone that's like, oh, I gotta invest in Canadian dollars. Someone out there might make, oh my god, it's that much money in Canadian? I'll just exchange all my money in Canadian currency and buy stuff in Canada. Then they're short thousands of dollars. Echo Pichu. Congratulations, you're the next contestant on Decklist review, and we've got a Squirrels deck. We got squirrely squirrels. The squirrely type of squirrel. How much you get for first place? $10,000. Won't be like that at Magic the Gathering Las Vegas. But that's what it could be. Yeah, hashtag not financial advice. That exchange rate is real. Hashtag not financial advice. How do you do at the Pro Tour? I got fucking slaughtered. They force you to play limited and everything. And I played a shitty standard deck. Whatever. I learned my lesson. Just play the Well, you know, it was hard. It was difficult. A breakout tier 1 deck was discovered like 2 days before the Pro Tour, and like just ruined all my preparation. I'm like, I don't want to switch. All right, what do we got here? We got the Darkbone Pathway, the Forest, Landwar Wastes, 1 Mutavault, Overgrown Tomb, 2 Swamp, a Swarm Yard, regenerate insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Oh, sick. That's not bad. Okay, Urza Saga. We got Urza Saga. Burn Catacombs, Dismember, Fatal Push. What the fuck squirrel deck is this? Asmarano, Cauldron Familiar, Chatterfang. It's like, it's only a squirrel deck. You know, this is the same like a fairies deck like we were just talking about earlier. These days, like especially for the last 10 years, a fairies deck is just a control deck with like 4 Spellstrutter Sprite in the deck and maybe 1 or 2 Bitter Blossom. And it's a fairies deck, you know? Oh yeah, that is a fairies deck. It's more of a control deck. This looks like it's an Asmarano deck. And say it with me, people. Asmarano, Martika, Dastina, Kuldakar. And it just has Chatterfang in it. Okay, so what does Chatterfang do? As force swap, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. Okay, so this is a token, or at least it's a food generating machine. You can pay a black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets -X, plus X -X until end of turn. The Daredevil, the Street Wraith, Expedition Map, Soul Guide Lantern, Underworld Cookbook, Witch's Oven. So my only concern is the mana base. Is this mana base any good? You have 22 lands. I was like, how many black sources do you have? Well, you don't. I guess you don't need. No, you do need black to cast this thing. 4, 6, 10, 11, 15. Yeah, I guess you have enough. Yeah, I guess you have enough. Sansa's Trophy, Chalice of the Void. Why? Why? What, to play it on 2? This hits your deck. And hard. Like whether you play it on 1 or 0. Or maybe it doesn't hit it that hard. But it hits it! Why? Was this ever played in the deck? Chalice on 2? What for? That's a lot of work. That's 4 mana. Yeah, but if you set it on 0, then it hits your Asmarano. Alright, if the Nombo is worth it, then sure. I always find Dismember really weird in a deck that plays black. Like, really, really weird. Like, why not 4 Fatal Push? I guess maybe you don't have enough fetch lands. This is a little... It's funny, it looks like your deck is a little budget. I think I would... I mean, I don't know if you're on a budget or not, but I'd probably play more fetch lands. To, activate the last Fatal Push. Cat Oven interacts very well with Chatterfang and Ravenous, but I've considered going to 3 on each. Saga Tutors for engine pieces. Of course, I'm losing the Elementals and Nivtolite consistently, with the Izzet matchup being about one-third of the win rate. The deck's goal is to apply pressure. Okay, I'm losing the Elemental. Well, to be honest, like, yeah, your deck is going to lose to Elementals. They just outvalue you big time. And they have really good interaction for you. So what you could do... I think you just have to lose to them, to be honest. I mean, we can't beat everything. This is your maybe board. You have Ratchet Bomb. Like, Ratchet Bomb looks like a more sensible way of attacking the Rhino deck than Chalice of the Void. Marsh Flats are cheap, yeah. Maybe I would say I would prefer to be playing with less Dismembers. Like, why shoot yourself in the foot? If you have Chalice, you always main deck it? No, not in this metagame. A lot of people are sideboarding a few Chalice of the Voids. Like, it's pretty common, but I never saw it in a food deck. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and they're playing it for like the particular matchups like Living End and Crashing Footfalls, but Whatever. More Dismembers, Endurance, Fatal Push, Grafdigger's Cage, Inquisition, Pithing Needle, and Ratchet Bomb. I think in an ideal world, you play 4 Fatal Push, you play more fetch lands. Is there anything that could kill, like, any creature? Like, Murktide is a pretty important creature to kill. But I guess you could... I guess in theory, Asmarana will deal with anything that can't be killed by Fatal Push. Not a fan of the Cat Oven? It's a real deck. It's real stuff. Oh, you're already overloaded on Fatal Pushes. So just adding Dismember in as extra. Grafdigger's Cage. Players... Creature cards and graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield, but that does not mean it can't go back to your hand. Inquisition, Pithing Needle. Okay, that's it. Good luck with the Chatterfang. I don't know if it works, but... I mean, I can see the idea. Good luck with the list. I don't have much feedback. Because it's mostly, I mean, the deck is mostly solid, right? You're playing the Cauldron, the Cat Oven deck. Cat Oven Asmarano deck. Dire. Dire Wolf. Alright, let's look at an Elves deck. And Dire Wolf has usually some very good builds. Is this your version of the Vizier of Remedies thing? So we saw a Vizier deck not too long ago. So the way Dire is approaching it, says, you know what, we're only going to play with one Vizier because you can, like, tutor for the rest of them. Oh, but you're playing Collected Company. Interesting. So Elvish Mystic, Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elves, Quirion Ranger, the Return Forest, and top target creature, Devoted Druid, Elvish War Master, which is just fantastic. I can't wait to playtest this card. This looks like it's a lot of value. And also it's a win condition. Selfless Spirit, Vizier of Remedies, Elvish Archdruid, Azuri, Mirror Entity. Why both? It looks like if you have infinite mana, you win with Mirror Entity, but if you have infinite mana, you might as well just win with Azuri. Like, I understand having one over the other, but with all your tutors, like, it seems pointless of having both, unless you're trying to play around Pithing Needle. Yeah, maybe you're trying to play around Pithing Needle, but you also have Shalai, Voice of Plenty, if you really need to play around one more. See, like, this looks like it's overload. Like, why do you need so many different ways of winning when you probably just need 2? And consistently get to 2. And maybe even just take out 2 and then play other cards. I'm not sure. I don't know if you need another Selfless Spirit or Quirion Ranger, but, you know, all these... Or maybe play 2 more Finale of Devastations. Well, like, yeah, but you don't need like a million ways of getting around Pithing Needle. And I don't even know if I so much believe in Craterhoof in a list like this. Well, Craterhoof can just not win out of nowhere, I guess, but... Anyway, it looks like this is just for fun. It's more for fun than strategic relevance, that you have, like, 4 different ways of winning the game. Finale of Devastation, Court of Calling, Collective Company, Turn, Timber, Symbiosis. Fantastic card, really, for Elves. And I think it was Dire who was the first person to try Turn, Timber, Symbiosis. Cavern of Souls, Forest, Stomping Ground, Temple Garden. Are you playing with Magus of the Moon? Oh, no, you're playing... You are playing with Magus of the Moon in the sideboard. So I do respect that. And you're also playing with Banefire. Do you need to play with 2 Stomping Ground? You probably could just get away with 1. If you have such a light splash like this, you should just play with 1. Where you have 2 Temple Garden. If anything, you need the white more than you need the red. So I would play 1 more Temple Garden over Stomping Ground. How many ways can we fetch? 4, 5... Or at least play 1 more fetch land instead of the Stomping Ground. And that's equal to another Temple Garden and a Stomping Ground. So you could play another Wooded Foothills, for example. Yeah, I would definitely do that so you can find your forests. The games where you need to find a Magus of the Moon as well. So you fetch for Forest, you fetch for Stomping Ground. Well, I guess maybe the green mana doesn't matter. You got lots of green mana. Collector Oof, Drannith Magistrate, Hushbringer, Phyrexian Revoker, Endurance, Archon of Emeria. This is Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. So it's like the idea is you dump your hand and then you slam Archon of Emeria. That's pretty strong. What is that Craterhoof art? This is that children's charity art. It's a real card. It's one of the new secret layers. So, I mean, the list is clean. I just find it suspicious how you're dividing your win condition, unless somehow Mirror Entity deals with one archetype that Shalai, Voice of Plenty, cannot deal with, that Craterhoof Behemoth cannot deal with, that Izuri cannot deal with. Like, each one of these is for some archetype that none of the other four, or none of the other three work. Otherwise, I would just, like, focus in on two. It's a $20 Craterhoof. I don't care what it looks like. Yeah, Craterhoof's for 20 bucks. That's what Craterhoof is now. This is the last thing you see before you die. Have a nice trip. Wish? This deck doesn't use wishes very well because we don't generate red mana. Or are you talking about Aladrim's Call? If you don't literally wish, I don't think we have enough red mana for it. Anyway, that's going to be it. I mean, the list is solid. Dyer, you make good lists. Each one of your elf lists are great. You're the one who's going to bring elves back to the forefront of the metagame. And as winter approaches, you know, on theme, I will also make my own elf deck. And elf got a lot of new interesting cards. But of course, I'm not going to be playing combo elves. I'm going to play some sort of vile elves. And I can't wait to use Elvish War Master in them. Well, take care, everyone. This is it for Coffee and MTG. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If I didn't get to your because if I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, there's always another day. You love Coffee and MTG, would love to support the channel, but if you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv, you could become a Patreon at patreon.com, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So thank you very much for another great day of coffee, another great day of MTG, and to remind myself that I was this close to winning a GP. All the other Merfolk followers won GPs. Why don't I get to win a GP? All I can say is I am a finalist. I was there. I was at the final table. I put all my chips in and lost that damn river card. All right. Take care, you guys. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys.